Now let's talk more in depth about the earned value management cost control and how you can utilize it to ensure that you have an effective cost control over your project. So earned value management, or the EVM, is a powerful tool that provides a holistic view of the project performance by integrating the scope, the schedule, and cost. Unlike the traditional cost tracking, which only compares the planned and actual spending, the AVM here evaluates how much value has been achieved relative to the work performed. This approach enables the project managers to detect the variances early and take the corrective actions promptly. Let's now see how it can help us in terms of cost control. First, let's understand the cost performance index, or the CPI. Yes, it's similar to the SPI, but here you are managing the cost, or here you are controlling and measuring the cost. The SPI was to control and measure the let's say the schedule performance index. Here we are going to cover the cost performance index, and the formula of the SPI is simple as it's the EV, or the earned value, divided by the actual cost. And to read that, you can say that in case of the SPI or the CPI is more than one, then the project is under budget. On the other hand, if your, let's say, CPI is less than one, it means that the project is over budget or over budgeted. So you need to take an corrective action to, let's say, to bring back your SPI, to be equal or more than one. Again, the cost performance index, or the CPI, is a key metric in AVM formula, and that measures the cost efficiency. And for instance, here let's take an example where it has an earned value of 50,000 US dollars, okay? And the actual cost, so the earned value here is the EV, remember. And the actual cost, which is the EC, or the actual cost, where the actual spending is 45,000. When you divide the 50,000 by the actual cost, so the CPI here would come into 1.111, indicating that the project is under budget. And by monitoring the CPI regularly, the project managers can identify the trends and implement strategies to maintain or improve the cost efficiency. Budget forecasting in AVM. So, budget forecasting in AVM involves predicting the feature or the future spendings using the metrics like the estimate at completion. If you recall, when we talked about the estimate at completion, which is the EAC, also the estimate to complete, which is the ETC. When we talked about estimate at completion, or the EAC, it predicts the total project cost based on current performance. Again, the estimate at completion, or the EAC, it predicts the total project cost based on the current performance. But when we talk about the estimate to complete, which is the ETC, it helps by forecasting the remaining project costs. And both of these formulas, or both of these indicators, helps in resource allocation and financial planning. So the budget forecasting in AVM involves predicting the future spendings using the metrics like the estimate at completion, the AAC, and the estimate to complete, which is the ETC. Let's take an example here. Let's say if there is a construction project where it's halfway completed with a CPI, or cost performance index, of 0.9. The EAC calculations, let's say the EAC calculation can highlight the potential budget overruns, promoting resource reallocation or scope adjustment to bring the project back on track. Now let's move into a different variance, which means the variance at completion, which is the VAC. The VAC formula can be calculated as the BAC, or the total budget of the project, minus the AAC. Again, the VAC, or the variance at completion, is equal to the budget at completion, known as the BAC, minus the EAC, which is estimate at completion. Remember that the positive VAC, or positive variance at completion indicator, it says that the project is under budget. But if you have a negative VAC, or negative variance at completion indicator, it means that the project is over budget. So you need to take the corrective action to make sure that your VAC, or variance at completion, is a positive value. The variance at completion, or the VAC, provides a snapshot of the financial outlook for the project. For example, if the project, or if there is a project which has a budget at completion, um, the budget at completion is like the total budget of the project, which is known as the BAC. And in our example, let's say that we have a BAC of $1 million, and the EAC, or the estimate at completion, of 1,50,000. So the VAC, you can calculate it as the BAC minus the EAC, and that will give you a minus 50,000 US dollar. And this minus $50,000 indicates that there's a budget overruns. And such insights enable the project manager to justify the additional funding, or prioritize the tasks to mitigate the financial risks. What are the benefits of EVM and utilizing the EVM with all of these formulas that we have gone through in the cost control? One of these benefits, it provides early warning signs of the cost overruns. As we could see in the previous example, where we have a million budget of the project, and the estimate, or EAC, which is estimate at completion, has expected that the project will finish at 1,050,000, and we calculated the 50,000 in a minus value, where it has indicated that there is a budget overrun. So again, it provides early warning sign for the cost overruns. Also, it facilitates data-driven decision making, as well as it enhances the stakeholder communication with clear metrics. EVM again is invaluable for monitoring and maintaining the control over the project cost. Let's now have, let's say, a more detailed example, an IT implementation project. The EVM metrics, like the CPI, or the cost performance index, and the VAC, which is the variance at completion, provides clear indicators of the cost performance, enabling the project managers to take timely corrective actions. Additionally, EVM, the usage of EVM, it improves the stakeholder communication by presenting complex financial data in a concise and understandable format. Let's look again to one of these real-world application of EVM, because it's very important, and I keep highlighting the key indicators and how to read them in case if they are positive value or negative. Let's say that in a transportation infrastructure project, where a scenario that we are trying to use the EVM in this transportation infrastructure project. Regular EVM analysis has revealed a declining, or a negative value of the CPI, which is the cost performance index, and that has been identified in a trend early in the execution phase. So by revising, let's say here is by, so now we've talked about the project. Also, we have seen that it has a declining CPI metric, or CPI reading. So now you have to take a corrective action to bring back the CPI in a positive value. And to the corrective actions that here we can take is by revising the resource allocation, and maybe optimizing the procurement schedules. The project team can reduce the cost overruns, let's say by 10% or 15%, to bring back, let's say, a value of positive CPI. And this demonstrates how the EVM empowers the team to make informed decisions and ensure the financial success of their project control. Let's now talk about these most common challenges in implementing the EVM or the end value management. The first one here, while let's say EVM is a powerful tool and its successful implementation can bring you an accurate data, but it depends on the data accuracy, collection, and analysis. So these challenges includes requiring an accurate and timely data collection. This is one of these challenges that you as a project manager might face when you want to try to find the calculation for your AVM project in terms of cost control and schedule control. You need an accurate and timely data. Also, the second challenge here we have, it involves a steep learning curve for new practitioners. So the more you practice, trying to calculate the AVM, the more accurate that your results will be. The let's say next and tries. And the third challenge here you might face as a project manager is the resistance due to the perceived complexity, because sometimes it needs data and it needs some let's say calculation. It takes some time. Some of the project managers think that it's a very complex, but within the time and within, let's say, the more practice, it become easy to them. So these are the common challenges that you might face as a project manager when you're trying to implement the What are the tools that you can utilize to for the EVM and the cost control process? Tools like the Primavera and Microsoft project streamlines the EVM by automating the calculations and providing real-time insight. So again, these project management softwares, the Microsoft project and the other software projects can help you, automating the calculations and providing real-time insight. Also dashboards for real-time metric tracking, as well as automated reporting tools for EVM metrics. So these are the common tools that is used. Now let's see how to integrate EVM or end value management with other processes. EVM is most effective when integrated with other project management processes. But what is the importance of integrating the EVM to other project processes? It aligns with the schedule management for a holistic control. Also, it supports the risk management through variance analysis. It might also enhance the change management by evaluating cost impact. So these are the key benefits that you could gain when integrating the EVM with other project processes. Let's take here an example. In a software development project, aligning the EVM with the schedule control provide a comprehensive view of the schedule performance, enabling the team to manage the cost and time variances at the same time. To summarize our session on EVM for cost control, earned value management is an essential tool for cost control and schedule control. Also, the scope control. So it offers a clear insight into the project performance and future forecasts. And by leveraging metrics like the CPI, the SPI, and let's say variance at completion, and the other formulas like the VC or the SV, the schedule variance, and the CV, which is the cost variance, the project managers can identify variances early and implement corrective actions. All of these metrics that we have mentioned, it can guide you as a project manager to have a proactive decision making and data driven decision making capability.